I actually was almost going to be her character for Halloween last year.
How was it to work with Franka Potente?
She's definitely a formidable antagonist for our season on the show. For Joe, Franka is an amazing actress. She's an old pro. She's been around for a long time. I was a big fan of hers when Run Lola Run came out back in, I think it was the early 90s when that movie came out.
The kissing scene from episode 3 with Joe and Irene. What did you think when you first read about it in the script?
I thought I thought it was well written. I really did. I think that Irene Vaughan is a very mysterious character that you don't know which direction she's going to go. You know, she's a little loose up here. So Joe doesn't know how, when he first meets her, doesn't know how to react to. First off, he's got a gun to him, you know, to his head, basically. So he has to react accordingly with a gun to your head. On the day when the kissing scene happened, Joe didn't kiss her back. You know, it was Franka kissing Joe, or it was Irene kissing Joe. It wasn't Joe kissing Irene back. But it was interesting to watch Franka work, because you can't help but react to the sexual tension there, because there was, you know what I mean? Joe is definitely, I thought, in that scene, felt that sexual tension. So I enjoy working with Franka very much.
Irene is obsessed with Joe and also with native culture and your traditions. So was it your purpose to confront this indigenous point of view of the show with the stories like Winnetou or something like that?
Yeah, so the writers were very aware of Carl, I think it's Carl May, who wrote Winnetou. I was a German writer, if I remember correctly. And, the writers were very aware that within the German culture, there is a kind of a subculture when it comes to doing reenactments of native cultures. They have, carnivals, and they have native weekends where people camp out and act like they're native, etc. So yeah, the writers were very aware of that. I don't know if it's an obsession, but certainly a fascination with native culture.
I decide who's safe and who's not.
You've got some great actors in this season, not only Franka Potente, but Titus Welliver, Udo Kier, and even Linda Hamilton in the brief cameo. So how did you get some legendary names?
I was very surprised that we got Udo. I think Udo was, God rest his soul. Well, I think Franka's idea actually brought up his name to our showrunner, John Worth, and I was a big fan of Udo's from My Private Idaho. It's one of my favorite movies, Gus Van Sant film that Udo was in. And so I was very, very happy when we were able to get him on the show. Titus Welliver, obviously from Bosch, is just an amazing actor. And to be able to attract these kind of this caliber of talent to our show is, I pinch myself every day to be working with this caliber of actors. And yeah, it's been Linda Hamilton. I worked with Linda in 1994, I think, on one of my first films I ever did. That was 30 years ago. And to work with Linda again, to see her is amazing, and looking forward to hopefully working with her again this season. So
you've got some great guest stars this year, but also the seasons before. Who are you most excited about to meet at the set, and how did it go?
I was stoked that Franka Potente came onto her show, because I watched Run Lola Run, the movie that she became very famous for at the beginning of her career. And I actually was almost going to be her character for Halloween last year. And I just wanted to have red hair. So it was Run Lola Run or Lilu from The Fifth Element. Yeah. So I ended up going with Lilu from The Fifth Element, but it was wild because we didn't know Franka was cast yet. So when I saw her, I was like, get out of here. Yeah. And she's just as cool as a
she manifested that life. Too, probably.
Manifested that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's really, I'm really excited for her. I always get excited when like the human being is just as cool as the actor. And she's really is. She's, and no offense, you can't say that for everyone you meet, but like with her, she's a real one. Yeah. So I'm very excited for the world to see her performance, because she's a good human and a great actor.
Her and Udo Kier, rest in peace. Him, I was so stoked to meet him and talk with him and Franka during lunchtime, certain points, and I was go into their bunker and just like kind of hang out with him, just
So
seeing
cool.
him and just talking to him.
That's
Because you know,
priceless.
you never know when people go, and like you want to hear people's stories as much as possible to record before it all goes away, you know, and I'm just grateful that we had those moments.